So hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Terry. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys and gals are all doing well out there. And over the last couple of years, I've always got compliments on my microphone setups, whether it's my SM7B, my old Rode Pod mic. I really like, tweaking my EQ on my GoXLR. And sometimes I spend hours, if not days, whenever I get a brand new microphone, setting this kind of thing up to make sure it sounds good to me and also sounds good to my viewers. And lately with this SM7B and my GoXLR, I've been getting a lot of compliments either on stream or even here on my YouTube videos. And somebody straight up asked me, hey Terry, could you make a tutorial for how you have your GoXLR set up with your microphone? So I sure can. That's what this video is, what you're seeing right now. Just do me a favor here though, okay folks, keep in mind that my settings for my SM7B are set up for my environment and for my voice. But maybe if you want to use my settings here as like a stepping stone to get your EQ where you would like it to be, go right ahead. So with that being said, let's just jump into the settings here, okay? All right, hey everybody, now look, before you even plug in your microphone to the GoXLR, what I want you to do is this here. Before you even plug it in, okay, I want you to select whether you have a dynamic microphone or a condenser microphone, or if you're using the 3.5 millimeter line in, you can go ahead and set that here too. But why I'm saying this here is that this condenser plus 48 volts, that 48 volts is for what's called phantom power. And that's what all condenser microphones use to actually, well, get powered. A dynamic microphone does not need any kind of supplemental power going to it. Now, modern day dynamic microphones, while you should never have phantom power turned on, if you accidentally turn it on with a dynamic microphone set up, it shouldn't damage it. Modern day dynamic microphones should just reject it and it not really cause damage at all. But if the type of dynamic microphone you're using is a ribbon microphone, it can damage them. So just be careful for that, okay? So normally with an SM7B, you would have it on dynamic, but I have what's called a cloud lifter to where it sends more gain to the microphone, and that does require phantom power. So that is why I have mine on condenser plus 48 volts here, okay? But normally with any kind of dynamic microphone, you would set this to dynamic and set your gain. Now, speaking of gain, I like to keep mine right around the middle of good. You don't want to get up too hot because sometimes that can, cause you to peak and all that jazz. And even like right now, I'm peaking a little bit too high, I think, but I can make up for that later in post here. Okay. I might tweak this here a little bit more. Like, folks, for real, whenever I set an EQ for my stuff, I think it's good, but in the end here, it's never actually done. You know what I mean? So with all this being said here, okay, everybody, now we're going to get into the actual EQ here. Okay, now as far as a noise gate goes, I have mine set to negative 40 decibels and the attenuation is set to 35%. These here are going to really depend on your environment, what kind of noisy environment that you might be in. So I just recommend that you mess around with these settings here and see what works best for you here, okay? Now, as far as the EQ goes, and same thing for the compressor here, I'll go over the compressor here first, okay? The compressor, again, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but what I like to do is I like to set my ratio to 4:1. From what I've learned over the years, the standard 4:1 compression ratio is essentially an industry-wide standards for vocals. Now, that might have changed, but this is what I've been using for the last 4 or 5 years. And for my voice, for what I do, it works for me. And I think it also sounds pretty good. Now for a threshold, I set mine to negative 20. And all of these here, I've actually kind of just left on default here. So attack 2 milliseconds, release 55 milliseconds. Now, whenever you use a compressor on a microphone, you're going to notice that your overall microphone output volume is going to be kind of low. And the way this was explained to me is because whenever you apply a compressor, it takes the loud parts and the quiet parts and squishes them all to make them closer together. That's why whenever you whisper like this here with the compressor turned on, it sounds just as loud as if I was talking like this here. And if I get really loud like this here, it sounds just the same as if I was talking like this here. You know what I mean? So you have to add some makeup gain. So whenever you add makeup gain, like right here in OBS, I'm peaking to right around negative 10, negative 7, somewhere in there. Sometimes negative 5 if I get real loud like this here. But otherwise, it's always right around negative 10 to negative 5 dB in my OBS meter here, okay? So I would recommend you add some makeup gain to hit at least -10 decibels for your microphone. And you can always, play with it from there if you would like to, okay? For the de-esser, this is for the big GoXLR. I believe the GoXLR Mini doesn't have this setting here. But for the big one, like I have here, I keep my de-esser on 50, and it's never added any kind of artifact or anything like that to my voice. So I think it's a good balance here, okay? Now, as far as the EQ goes, this is a very, very personal thing. I can almost guarantee you my settings, like if you were to apply this to your microphone, it might make it sound like complete crap because, again, I have my EQ tuned for my voice and for my environment. But what I do recommend you do is these first couple of bands here, I would recommend you drag those all the way down. The SM7B does have a low cut filter toggle on the back of this thing, but I prefer to do it all in software here because I just prefer the overall flat profile that the SM7B gives out of the box. So to apply my own low cut filter, I just took these two bottom bands here on the low end, completely zeroed them out. It might not come through a lot with this setup here, but my voice is very, it's on the lower register, and I believe to my ears, my voice sounds kind of muddy in the midtones. So what I did was I left the other, low frequencies at 0, and then I took some out of the midtones. And then what I did was to bring up the high end to make it kind of sound a little bit more lively and to bring more presence to my voice. I went ahead and boosted the highs on the back end here just a little bit. Now keep in mind as well here too, folks, you're not going to have this wide of an EQ on the GoXLR Mini, but you could adjust it if you need to. As long as your EQ sounds good to you and you're not over bassy, or you don't have that 1950 radio sound because you have the mids too pumped up, or you sound like the high end is way too screechy, it should be fine. But yeah, everybody, that's pretty much all I do for my microphone here. Again, thank you so much for saying this thing sounds good. Heck, I might tweak it some more after this video's over. Who really knows? But this is the EQ that I've been using on this microphone here for the last, I guess, year and a half or so now, and I have no complaints with it. People seem to like it a lot. So I mean that, again, thank you so much for the compliments. I greatly appreciate it. But if you have any questions about the EQ, about the GoXLR, or anything like that, do me a favor, drop a comment below. If I know the answer, I will gladly help you guys and gals out. And here's the thing too, okay, folks? A lot of you might be thinking to yourself, well, what if I don't have a GoXLR? Like, I just have a mixer or whatever. Well, the same thing applies there. You can, tweak your EQ to your heart's content, whether it's a software-based EQ like the Elgato Wave software, the Wavelink stuff. I think SteelSeries has one out now as well too, Beacon, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So just because you don't have a GoXLR, you can still apply these same type of techniques and same fundamentals to software-based stuff as well too. But yeah, everybody, just once again, my name is Terry. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys and gals next time.